And here we are, chat, the final game for the grand finals at the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite for our European players here. 5 games down, and it's been a crazy day of Fortnite. We started off with the semifinals, 1,500 players whittled down to the top 100. And now only one game stands in the way of the $250,000 prize pool and these top 100 players. Shy Wager 11-2K have been calling all of the action here for our grand finals. And finally, it has happened. Someone has usurped Mr. Savage, who has been up on top the entire grand finals. Gentlemen, do you think that is it too late? Is it going to be Mr. Savage's game, or is Kinzel going to be the one that takes it all away?
Listen, Savage, I think, is activated when he wants to grab a placement in front of him, right? Like, I think this is possibly better for him, but making Kinzel not make an end game, which is what he needs, I don't think is going to be possible.
I think we have to pull up our top 20 leaderboard right now to see where exactly the dominoes fall into place. I don't even know if that's a common phrase, but it is now, chat. Kinzel up on top, first place, 293 points. We've been saying, while we look at these top 20 leaderboards, that Mr. Savage wasn't too far ahead of the rest of the pack, so they could easily overtake him. And Kinzel does just that. And now he has almost a 40-point lead over Mr. Savage, who's currently in second place. Dazen Ho has been holding up really well in third place. X Squeeze is going to be in fourth place, and then Jamside's finally breaking into the top 5 is going to be in fifth.
Well, you can see the difference, right, between first and first. Look at the placement points, Kelly. It's you know, there's a gap there. There's a gap there. Savage has played well today, but he's just not, like, he's not had enough of them top placements. I believe last game he went down about 33rd. Unfortunately, we missed that, right? You know, he's gonna really need to clutch it up in typical Mr. Savage fashion if he has any chance. But you know, like we said, the gap is starting to look a bit. This is tough, Shy. I don't know. What do you make this? What do you make of this?
This is, I think, just height difference. To be honest, if that's the thing, height diff, 100%. It's just Kinzel playing these games out to win, while Savage is trying to play them, I think, to survive and then end up thriving in that last top 3, right? He's not looking to really dominate and take over. Past that, though, there's a bunch of people trying to play that dominating play style too early, like mid-game, early game. Lecce was trying it. He had some success, but after the fact, actually still had more success, got clapped up later on. Deceptos as well, being very patient. These players are having more success. But Kinzel, though, overall, off of that game, just pulled way too far ahead. It'll be difficult for Savage, but I like him in this more so having the clutch spot.
I do really appreciate, Levin, you pulling out the placement points that Kinzel has got here. Besides the first game where he got 21st place, the lowest that he has placed in the remaining 4 games was 11th. Incredible performances from Kinzel, not only getting the victory royale in that last game, but also getting 3rd, 7th, and 11th place. Clearly, he deserves to be up on top, but this is still, I don't want to say anyone's game, because it's not anyone's game. There's a 90-point difference between Kinzel and Vado, who's in 8th place right now. But between the top 5 right now, I think it's possible for these players to potentially take first place over Kinzel. But is it going to happen? Is Kinzel going to continue to be up on top, continue to get those placement points, or is Mr. Savage going to have a crazy game in this final game right here? Gentlemen, I asked you at the start of the show who you have winning the whole thing. And chat, I'm going to ask you first. Is it going to be Mr. Savage, Mr. Kinzel, or maybe it's going to be a new player that we haven't seen on top? But now I turn to you. 11-2K, who's going to win the whole thing?
Well, obviously, my initial pick was Deceptos, and he has impressed me today, right? Not necessarily in the running to win the whole thing outright, but he's been amazing. However, between Savage and Kinzel, I want to see my boy Savage clutch. I want to see if he can do it. But the problem is at this point, it's not in his hands, right? It all really depends on if Kinzel just has a bad game. And when you're relying on your opponents who has already been so consistent to have a bad game, you know, you're really on difficult, you know, treading here. It's not looking amazing, but it's possible. It's possible.
I am seeing a lot of love for Mr. Savage on top, a lot of love for Kinzel too, and I personally love the 2P. I love it, or the repeat, I should say, the 2-time champ. Kinzel won back, I think it was August. So I think I'm going to give it to Kinzel, walking away on top, and that's obviously a pretty safe assumption, being on top right now, 40 points ahead of Mr. Savage. Shia Wager, who do you think's going to take it?
2 or 3 things. First of all, Levin, Deceptos, do you think it's going to be a top 5?
Ooh.
Yes.
Because he's 6th right now.
Yeah, I think he'll finish top 5.
Okay, cool.
I think he'll finish top 5.
Second thing for the Savage and Kinzel debate, I feel like Kinzel is just playing too well at staying alive and making endgame. There needs to be a gap there, as Levin said. He believes that gap will exist. I don't think so, because even if it does, I don't think Savage is really playing to win these games more so than just play them consistently, right? And the way he plays to win will always be from low. I think with the broomstick gone right now, it's height that's really just dominating everything. Low ground broomstick plays were there for the first 3 games. It's kind of switched up, and you can't stay as silent on low anymore. So personally speaking, this is going to be a Kinzel dub. I'd love to see either or win, but the facts are the facts.
Shia, before we toss to it, oh no, please, Levin.
No, I was just gonna say, we were talking about how Savage wants to, catch up to Teak and be, get that 2-time. Kinzel swooped in and said, you forgot about me. I can get the 2-time as well. And he might just do it today. So we'll see what happens in this final game.
Going to be seeing what's going to happen in the final game, game 6 here for the grand finals of the DreamHack Open for Europe chat. We are going to be going into a quick break. But before we do that, I want to break down the numbers, man. I want to look at what we got here. Kinzel, 46 points or 36 points ahead of Mr. Savage. So let's say both of them get top 10. And that right there is guaranteed about 30 points for them. Is Mr. Savage going to have to go W key here and get those eliminations, or do you think he's going to have to play it safe?
I'm getting some caster calls all the way from DreamHack Anaheim ringing in my ear, even all the way that we've seen Savage play in these past DreamHacks. He doesn't need to W key. He needs to stay on low ground during the end games. That's where he really starts to pop off. I'm just wondering if that will be enough in terms of how we're playing these few games out. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Levin?
I'm hoping, but it's just like the more Shio is up, it is very good. It's going to be difficult. Like, it's not on Savage. It's more hoping Kinzel has a bad game, and with the way he's played, you can't rely on him.
Everyone, this is going to be an exciting final game here for the grand finals. Who is going to be out on top? Who is going to claim another W? And that's $16,000 for first place here. Well, we're going to find out in just a moment, but we do have a quick break, so don't go anywhere because it's going to be the thrilling conclusion of the grand finals.
We are back with...
All right. Game 6, grand finals, and both me and Levin are super excited to jump the gate and see if Kinzel or Savage get the back-to-back.
Yeah, you can see the excitement clearly from the both of us right now. The final game, everything that we've done so far is leading up to this moment right now. And what a way to go into the final game, right? Kinzel, I want to be watching Kinzel to the very last second, because with his position right now on the leaderboard, if he goes down somewhat early here, it opens up the door for so much to potentially happen. If Savage goes down, you know what that means, right? It's going to be a crazy final game. And, other than the first place, kind of race, there are still so many, different things that can happen in that kind of top 3 to 15 range in terms of just people moving around on the standings. So, you want to make sure you have a big final game.
Let's put it in perspective with numbers. Kinzel is literally ahead of 99 other players. No one can really touch him right now if he ends up surviving. It's a 1v99. He will open up the doors for literally everyone if he ends up going down, but he already has a potential elimination onto Flecken, and if not, he has a free reign off of that burst AR pressure and damage. He'll be able to just loot freely while Flecken has to find heals.
If I'm Kinzel, I'm not even thinking about it, man. That's when you psych yourself up, right? It's the game-by-game mentality. It's just, look, this is just another game of Fortnite, right? I'm going to just play my game, stick to everything I've been doing so far, because the second you allow yourself to start thinking...
No way. Did you see that? Trulex pickaxe fighting off spawn in game 6. The biggest risk and actually winning it.
No way. Who did he take out?
We don't know, but That was just off the replay. Styler as well at caddy corner takes out Jules. We saw in game 1, it was passive. But that's right, Levin, right? We'll come back to Kinzel towards the end portion of this game. Right now, past Kinzel, everyone else is within 10 points, within 5 points, within 2 points of each other. Look at that, Benji at 194, Lechia ahead of him at 198, MXR ahead of him at 199, and Nate behind them all at 190. So I keep saying all these numbers, just understand they're very close to each other. And literally everyone can get big changes in prize money, big changes in reputation. Someone at 50th place could make top 10. That is what's on the stake for a majority of people here in game 6. Kinzel, though, expected to take the back-to-back and take that #1 title.
Yeah, what that means for Kinzel will be crazy, right? Kinzel's somebody who he's been around for so long and, you know, never really got his flowers, right? Never really got, you know, the praise and the approval of the general community in the way you might expect. But, you know, recent times, especially as a solo player, showing that he's there, right? Showing that he can be up there with the best, and he is up there with the best, right? He's had amazing results in recent months, and obviously this being, you know, the last solo DreamHack we have now for a while, obviously moving on to duos next month. You know, just your final chance to really, you know, say you were the DreamHack solo champion. You can say you had a massive performance in a major, you know, solo competition. So I cannot wait to see how these players react to that responsibility, react to how important that is, right? You know, we don't get big solo competition every day, and this is your last real chance to make something of it.
And the players might not be feeling it now, the community might not be feeling it now in total for that big solo hype that you're talking about, Levin. But if you know Fortnite, you know that no matter what mode we have right now, they'll ask for the mode back again in a future date if it's not there, right? Like, there's a bunch of duels, but I guarantee that at some point people will start screaming about solos, and then is where exactly what you're saying will happen. Benji's legacy, your own legacy, if you're a player watching these games, will come under question again, will come back to light. And right now it might be over for Benji potentially if he loses over this fight onto Alfie. Exterios might choose to push for the first time here in 6 games too.
And what a time to do it. Exterios hasn't been accustomed to taking this fight too often so far, and how's this gonna pay out? We saw Benji lose a 50-50 in game 1. Going for a 50-50 again now in game 6. Come on, Benji. 50-50 ain't worth. And Exteriors probably realizes that as well. But you know what, I like this, right? Switches it up for the final game. Looks to take the fight to Exteriors. Will this fight actually play out? It looks like it because Exteriors was dropping down. He's going down into that vote. He wants to take this fight.
It's game 6 and every elim matters right now. To get towards second, to get towards Savage, Benji's slightly just 60 points behind. One fast elim now and a quick vault take to push over to the rest of his game will be so huge for him. Exterior is now bullied all the way inside, just one wall and ramp blocking him, and a potential for another game, but he gets beamed down. Benji, no way! The reversal, the beam, and Benji's locked in.
It just makes you wonder what if, right? Exteriors, the one game he decides, hey, look, I'm going to take the fight to Benji. It works out for him, you know? Imagine he had done this in game 5, game 4, game 3. Maybe he'd be sitting a lot higher than 78 points.
And Benji's locked in at 194 points now. He will not be able to move. There was no placement given to him this game. And Nate can pass him. Thomas HD can pass him. How low will he fall below 12th place? How high will Exterios rise?
Let's see here. Lobby starting to thin out a bit more than usual, right? We always see this with EU, right? Where the last game historically, a bit of a lighter lobby, right? Players really trying to force the issue, right? Trying to obtain as many eliminations as possible. And so we can expect to see a lot of fighting, a lot of WK, and obviously iDrop goes down in the elimination feed. We've seen him consistently taking fights throughout all the games today, and unfortunately, we've consistently seen him on the receiving end of a pounding here and there, and unfortunately not way up in the standings like you'd expect from him. Zeno here, he's been incredibly consistent today.
Absolutely. And he had like a taste of first place, right? I think after that first game, he was all the way on the top spot in number 1. Slightly got shipped it off after the fact. He had such a good performance in that game. The biggest issue now is just, actually not even an issue. He's in the same boat as Mr. Savage. Him and Mr. Savage, 8-point differential. But if Kinzel goes down and Zinio survives to the end game, like he has in the last 3, could possibly win DreamHack.
He could, and we say it casually, but it's a big deal, right? And it's gonna take a lot, but it is possible. Big squeeze in the fight now. Something we're gonna see a lot more of as this mid game, kind of continues, right? These sort of slow-paced box fights. It's just about who can take control of this one. It's squeezed a bit carefree there with the crash pad. Is he gonna use another one to get in? Oof. Nice counter edit there from Detox. Catches it squeezed out of rhythm. He gets sniped in his final game.
No way.
Things you hate to see.
He had 1 elimination before this. His second one is a snipe onto X Squeeze.
I'll be honest, if I got eliminated by somebody with 1 elimination as their only point for the whole tournament in my final game, I'd not be the happiest man on earth. Let's just say that.
I was wondering where you were going with that. And from all the 11-2K analogies I've heard on stream, that was okay, pretty tame.
Yeah.
I'm relieved.
Lechido taking the fight to Scarlet here. Really forcing the issue, right? He's picking up the pace with things here. Trying to force his way in with that TAC SMG. You've seen what that TAC SMG can do, right? It can pierce through builds quite effectively. And with Scarlet being on such low HP, if Lechi can find that angle, right? Connect to that shot. All he needs is the one shot. Crash pads in. Oof. Stair comes in just in the nick of time. And that was almost a bit scary for Lechi, but cleans it up, as he should do. And that's going to be his first of potentially many.
He's definitely hot on his feet. Everyone talks about Lechi's speed, but I don't think people understand his dynamic range in a box fight. Switching angles, like what, 8 times there? From a left wall to a right wall. Suddenly, he has a floor edit blocked by 1 cone, and now he's crash padding into your box from above. Even if it becomes a 50-50, he's been working your mental the whole time. You're getting overwhelmed, then he picks up a free elim at the end of the day. Past that, though, onto Jam side in 5th place. Right behind him, Deceptos at 228 points. These guys are neck and neck. And they want to stay at the top spot. Question is, with Stark Industries in play, how much will position matter? Jam side has it right now, but he has a test up against Sky.
Yeah, this is most definitely a test, right? Jamside's had some great games so far today. There's been a couple times where we've seen him go down a bit early, taking, these kind of mid-game fights. And Skyden is no easy opponent, right? And you see fight just kind of slows down there for a second. Both players, almost having a bit of respect for each other here, right? Nobody trying to do anything too abrasive. Oh dear, Skyden though, on the receiving end from some third-party tags, and this is going to be perfect for Jamside here. He's just got to hope that nobody steals this one away now.
Wait, why Jamside? You saw beams coming from that direction, and now everything is turned up over its head. Has 1 ramp to block off everything, but the third party's really focusing on the Jamside now. Little does everyone know, both these guys are the same HP. This is tournament game for every player in the lobby. 2 floppers pop, Jamside's looking better. Sky's made some room, but Jamside cannot leave this one to luck. He cannot leave this one alone. He has to finish this fight against Sky. Still going for it. Finally gets a wall, but does not land the shot. Still trying here. Going for another take. Sky's gotten away. But at a sliver of HP, what hope is there? Jamside is top 5 once again. Top 5. A huge finish in DreamHack. on the line for him. He has no shields either, and Sky doesn't. So how far would this fight actually go? He's going for that last wall. Ramp overhead now. The edit taken over, replaced, edited once again. Who's the third party? Who's still active? This fight is so high profile. Look at the minimap. There's so many players. Oh my god, Jamside. Not like this. He gets it. Relief.
Just barely though. I was worried there for a second, right? With someone of Jamside's experience within the game, right? You know, Jamside is a real veteran of competitive Fortnite, especially within the EU scene, and so, you know, those are the kind of engagements I expect him to close out. Game 6, you know, tournament on the line. You know, can you just have that composure to really close out fights like that, right? You saw they had, you know, decent amount of respect for each other. Nobody was doing anything too over the top. And drawing out the fight long like that sort of invited the third parties. Ultimately, though, Jamside was able to close things out. And sitting well on points, like you said, man, he's in 5th place for it. Like, it's a great day for Jamside so far.
Kind of a weird day for Castery overall, though, who's on your screen now, running beside Vato, who was in top 3, now in top 8. 8th place to be exact. Castery was doing so well. His games were being so consistent, so high placing with that broom that was in these competitive game modes. But after game 3, it gets taken out, and his entire game plan gets thrown awry. He has to adapt. 217 points. Hasn't really moved much after that big win. That was game 4, actually, excuse me. But now it's all about playing classic Fortnite, using those shockwaves, using a lot of utility. For Castery, though, I just see heals in his inventory. I'm not sure if this is a winning loadout.
You know, it's a fair point you make, right? But I think the key to mention, whenever I see any controller player with a purple pump in hand, you know, you're only a matter of seconds away from a winning loadout. You know, you catch my drift, right? I think he's shown that he can force the issue if necessary. And so I wouldn't be too worried about him yet. I think he made the right decision there, obviously, right? He had to make sure he passed Antarak. I think Antarak almost wanted to take that engagement, but Castery did a good job to kind of avoid it, spend the necessary mats. Clement sneaking up on him now. And there you go, right? Matter of seconds away, right? Obviously, doesn't really get anything in terms of a better upgrade in loot per se, but just showcasing how, you know, Castery is at any moment seconds away from being able to get that refresh, right? Get something.
His eyes are always open. And on this replay, we see Thomas HD taking out Marku. Savage also got a big one here on Guden. Man, all these guys in top 10 are still alive so far. We saw Castery pass by Vato. He's making some distance as well. They're both 7th and 8th. I'm wondering where Deceptos is. Jamside has survived. I think X-Squeeze was the one who was trying to third party Jamside the whole time. 11, Kinzel is still alive right now. Is it safe to say this man is your back-to-back DreamHack champion?
Look, an intelligent person would probably make that call by now, and the odds are in his favor as it currently stands. But you can never count Mr. Savage out, of course.
True.
You know, the reality is, though, at this point, right, with Kinzel still being alive, right, he's in his element, and you know, to continue to pick Mr. Savage here would be, you know, quite overzealous per se. You know, wouldn't be necessarily the most intelligent call to make. But if you're a fan of Mr. Savage, you're a fan of Mr. Savage, and you're gonna believe in him, and you're gonna ride with him all the way. And you know, I'm gonna die on this hill. I will continue to back my guy until the very end. So spam some cabbage to support Savage. But props to Kinzel, though, for the way he's played today. It's been an amazing performance from him. The levels of consistency he's shown. Built different. Simple as that. Built different.
How do you catch up to build different, though? Let's talk about the impossible, right? Let's talk about Savage and Kinzel surviving and Savage winning DreamHack. Both of them in the end game. The difference between these guys is 35 points. If placement's not a factor, that is basically 7 eliminations that Savage needs over Kinzel. So
for Savage to get 7 eliminations now would be completely
over
against the run of
Kinzel,
play.
not just 7. It has to be over.
It'd be completely against the run of play, you know. Props to Savage. He's an amazing player, and he is somebody who could, pop out and get 7+ eliminations. But like you said, it's not just 7+ eliminations; it's 7+ over Kinzel, and that would be incredibly, if he was to do that, I
say it. Say it. What would you do?
I don't know. I'd shave off my beard or something.
Levin, I'm getting this weird feeling for this game, man. Savage and Kinzel, both on the screen right now. You can see it, and a big wide of what the zones kind of look like. I'm seeing mountains. I'm seeing not too many complicated things. All right, Savage already has 1 elimination. I'm not sure what it is, Levin, but I'm feeling it for Mr. Savage for some reason right now in terms of him taking away this impossible dub.
If Savage is able to do this, then you can only call it, all you could call him is the best player in the world. Honestly, if he was able to pull this off, I'd have to call him the best player in the world. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it, and so we will see. But if you look at Kinzel, man, he looks so comfortable. So many shockwaves. The golden pump, a harpoon as well.
Okay, but on that rotation, on the 6th zone rotation, right now it's just the 5th zone. This has to close in. I think both players are not in zone. Both Kinzel and Mr. Savage have not made it to the safe zone just yet. Their competition's not safe. Their chances up in the air. This rotation matters the most. And right now, if Kinzel goes down and Savage survives, that placement is still going to be a thing that Savage can catch up on. They both have shockwaves though, so not too much of a worry.
Not too much of a worry there in terms of the kits, but if you're a Savage fan right now, you should be worrying because look at Kinzel picking up an elimination, just stretching that gap even more, right? He's only making Savage's life harder here, and Savage now on the back foot, on the receiving end of a lobby spray, it seems. It's just looking unlikely. It really is.
No,
I want to believe it. I want to believe it, Shayo. I do. Kinzel making his rotation now as well.
It's 44 people alive. Let's say the end game starts with 40. Kinzel goes down top 20. Savage wins the game. It's a possibility. But it's just these two guys really at the top. Xenio right behind them. He has an even further gap. XP seems like he's nowhere in sight. He needs like 10+ eliminations over both these players to be able to make it right through with that win. Xenio 256. Slightly caught up. But I can't even say that because all 3 players have been living so far, and both Savage and Kinzel have an elimination. That's 5 more points. Anas picks up another. Actually, he gets 2. Anas gets 2 elims in the box. Trying to get all the way up in those rankings. But still, all these top players still in the game. Remember these names before this zone moves in 5 seconds. Kinzel, Mr. Savage, Xenio. It's their fight.
Who will come out on top, though? You call it a fight, Shayo, but really it's 2 different weight classes here. Kinzel up in the heavyweights. He's got the reach advantage over Savage, most definitely. And Savage, though, in his element, right? Opting to go towards that low ground like you said he needs to. But will it be enough? He's looking, he's searching. Materials are running low. Hard mats are completely gone now. And he's gonna have to force a play. Fortunately, though, he doesn't have to worry about Storm Surge, but regardless, he needs to make something happen, and now.
Glue your eyes onto the elim feed. Look for the names Kinzel, Savage, and Xenio. I don't see them right now. We will let you know what's going on screen besides that. It's Savage on low, although Levin pointed out His mats might not be there. This is his home turf. Oh my God. Home invasion though. Savage, low, 30 mats, 20, 10. Needs a miracle edit. Needs a shot. But his run is over. Kinzel looks like he's about to win everything. On height, looking to control game number 6. Looking for DreamHack October's win. A back-to-back in the portfolio. Or just a 2-time in the portfolio. We'll see what happens.
Kinzel in amazing position now, using his impulses like it's the Catty launcher, attempting to knock a Nas off of high ground, and he did so successfully.
Wait a minute.
But it's coming back to bite him in the bum. He's over. He's only on 5 HP now.
He's got nothing. He's got nothing. No AR. And Kinzel's taken out. Daizinho, is this going to be it? Can he push forward and go for the win? It's a huge amount of points. I believe 316 plus that Daizinho needs to hit. It's possible.
He needs to go absolutely crazy. He has the potential to overtake Savage. He may have already overtaken Savage at this point, but if he wants the chance, he needs to do something ridiculous.
334 is actually what Kinzel ended on. That is where Daizinho needs to hit. 304 right now. Can he touch it? 30 more points with 6 people left. I don't think it's a possibility. I think Kinzel has done it. Unless every last elim here is gotten, it's over for Zinho. Can he get at least one? There it is. The pump lands. 311. With 3 more people left, Zinho's down the storm. And Kinzel has won 2 DreamHacks. The one that started it off for close to. And after that, the one in October. 2 DreamHacks under the belt. But we still have a DreamHack to watch. We still have a game 6 to break down. And it's a Nas who from the dirt, at I think less than 70 points starting this game off, has moved up to 161, 7 eliminations. He's looking for a top 20 finish. He's looking to wrap things over, and it's Flecken and Styler who are in his way.
And then Nas has the potential to really turn things around for the better now. Not had the most amazing of days, but with this final game, 7 eliminations thus far. Looking to really make a statement right now. He drops all the way down, and he's trying to knock them all the way down with him. Flecken goes down. That's another elimination for Anas. And with Styrian all the way up in the air, he's gonna just drop all the way down, and Anas picks up the final game of DreamHack Open Solos. What a way to do so as well. Shayo, what a game.
What a game, what a series, what an entire week of October for DreamHack. Kinzel walks away the champion. Anas, how high does he rise? Let's check it all out after this one final break.
And that is it, everyone, here for the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. We have wrapped up our October competitions as well as the European competition here, and it has been an incredible day, an incredible week, and an incredible month for Fortnite competitive scene. I'm your host, Hello Kelly Link, and of course, we got Shy Wager and Levin2K calling all of the action. And it was all about, is it going to be Kinzel or is it going to be Mr. Savage? And it was kind of a fight between the two of them all the way up. And then they both kind of got eliminated a little bit earlier on. So we got to watch a bit perspective from other players there, ending off with a Nas in the Victory Royale. But that wasn't enough to take him up on top in first place. But who is going to be in first place? Well, let's pull up our top 20 leaderboard right now. You guys already know because our 2 commentators here already called it. It's Kinzel up on top with 334 points. Daizinho, who has been consistently up on top here in the grand finals, actually stealing away second place from Mr. Savage, 311 points there. Mr. Savage, though, with an incredible performance, going to be ending out in 3rd place. Jamside is going to be holding 4th, and then Castery is in 5th.
Yeah, right there, Savage actually goes down early. Zinho survives for a long amount of time. Gets that last elim to wrap things over. But the most impressive thing I see over here is overall that top 5 kind of held real strong. Deceptos at 6th as well was there too. Everyone who went into this game with high expectations left with them still intact.
Great stuff, honestly. Obviously, I wanted Deceptos to make his way into that top 5. I called he would. Castry was the person to stop that from happening. And to be fair, if it was going to be anybody, I'm fine with it being Castry stopping that. Jamside had an amazing day, right? You know, to see him come in here and place in the top form and be as amazing as he has been, right? Bunch of eliminations on his behalf was great to see as well. Some great performances, like you mentioned, like the top 5, Shai, like the top 20 as a whole just looks, you know, amazing, full of great players who, you know, all at one point was in it, to say the least, right? Benji and Letchi kind of dropping off at one point, but at the beginning of the games, they were amazing. Same with Nate, right? Like, a great day of games for the EU today.
Starting all the way from the semifinals earlier on today with Sancho West and, oh gosh, Fallout, who called all the action for our semifinals there. Don't you laugh. And then on Monday, of course, we had the open qualifiers where tens of thousands of players whittled down to the top 1,500. But now it's all about number 1. Kinzel up on top. Now the 2-time EU champ, joining the likes of, I believe Teak is the only other 2-time champ that we have. Coop has won a DreamHack, but he also won the FNCS. So I guess that's a 2-time, but not for the DreamHack here. We now have Teak joined by Kinzel for the 2-time DreamHack champion. And honestly, these two gentlemen deserve to be that, deserve to have that title.
Yeah, and like DreamHack is becoming 2-time as well, right? In terms of they're making these individual players group up next month. So I'm wondering how that switches things up too, and which one of these guys becomes a solo and duo DreamHack champion. That story's on the line too.
Yes. And of course, November calls for Double Trouble Chat. We are switching the format from solos here to duos. You guys have been asking it. The pros have been tweeting about it constantly, and now it's finally gonna happen. We did get a bit of a word that it looks like it is gonna be Mr. Savage and Benji Fishy duoing up, but we do have a few weeks before we jump into that chat, so maybe things are gonna be changing up. Hopefully you guys have your duo partner ready and prepared to go, because it's gonna be exciting, guys. We do have that starting the 7th and 8th. It is gonna be Europe first. Usually we start with North American West, but that is going to be for Europe, guys. But we got to talk about the format, chat. We got to talk about what is going on here. And the format is going to be changing up in November a little bit. So I don't know if we have the graphics for solos or duos, but I'll explain it for duos anyway. There we go. It's going to be duos. Starting next month, the 7th and 8th is going to be EU. We have stage 1. That's going to be the open qualifying heats. Tens of thousands of duos from around the world are going to be competing, and it's not region locked, chat. So if you're not from the European region, do not fret, because you can be a part of all the action. They're going to have 3 hours to complete 10 games and get as many points as possible through placements and eliminations, with eliminations getting them 5 points each, I believe. I haven't been corrected on that yet. And only the top 250 teams are going to be moving forward into the semifinals. So from both heats, that means that 500 teams are going to be competing in our semifinals, and they're going to have the same situation. 3 hours to complete 10 games and get as many points as possible. From there, only the top 50 teams are going to be moving forward to stage 3, and that's the grand finals. That's what we just wrapped up here. It's going to be the same incredible $250,000 prize pool awaiting them at the very end. Man, I'm so excited to watch this, and you two gentlemen are obviously far more knowledgeable about the potential duos that we're going to be seeing here. So disregarding Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage, who I know we all want to see team up together, is there a duo that you're excited for our November competition?
Levin?
Me personally, I'd actually be excited to see a combination of Verox and Mexi. They were really successful last time out with duos, and I think when it comes to just like UK players who I'm a big fan of, them two names come to mind. And I think, you know, with the success they've had in the past, like they have a lot of chemistry, like really good chemistry, and they're genuinely two good friends anyway, right? So I think seeing them two perform as well, like the big thing that I've sort of been thinking about, like with the thought of duos, is like, isn't there a chance like it could be like a completely different game by the time we're playing like duos a lot of the like next season, right? A lot of the next DreamHack. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of changes up here and there. Obviously, with us getting duos means like there's almost like a transfer season, right? So many people are going to be like moving around, you know, shifting, saving. I'm losing my words here, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like there's going to be a lot of mixing and matching with who people play with. So it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I obviously was wondering what the duo for Kinzel is going to be, and chat seems to think it's going to be Tayson, Shio.
Ooh, do my boy Janice like that. I mean, I don't know. Could be a possibility. But for me, it's like I'm looking at duos maybe coming out of retirement. Some players who've been inactive due to maybe injuries, maybe bringing it back just for a fun time. The whole it's a camo that's always been going on, like from the classic days. The past that too on like, other regions, like maybe Booga Stretch running it back for the one time. Who knows?
Ooh.
On NA West, I'm trying to see how Epic Will, Arkroom, and Rex break it down. Who gets to duel with whom?
That's the one thing I'm excited for. Who's getting dropped in trios? Who's going to be salty? And which duo are we going to get from the leftovers of trios? And I hope that somehow they're able to come out on top. A big surprise here. And I think we haven't really seen duos in the DreamHack Open, and we haven't seen duos for a few months in Fortnite competitive in general. So this is going to be super exciting, chat. Make sure to follow DreamHack.com/Fortnite to sign up right now for our European competition. And of course, we're going to have North American East and North American West as well. But that is it for us right now, chat. This has been an incredible day of Fortnite. Of course, congratulations to Kenzel, not just walking away with first place and the 2P champion, but also $16,000. On behalf of Shy Wager 11-2K and of course Fallout and Sancho West, who called the semifinals, we do appreciate you guys here. We of course want to thank our production team for sticking around with us and doing everything that is possible to make sure that this show happens. And chat, most importantly, thank you guys for hanging out, being a part of all this, and we can't wait to see you in November. But until then, have a good one.